Good morning, everybody. I'm the Arcane Heathen. Today, we're going to actually do our first little solo play. I'm going to start a character and show you guys the character creation process for 2d6 dungeon, and maybe we'll even start our dungeon and our delve, and we'll see where we go from there. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and switch views here. Get that out of our way. So here I have a character sheet that I found online for 2d6 Dungeon. It's not the standard one out of the book. But I kind of like the simplicity of it, and it saves some ink on my printer, which is good because I printed off about 4 different books over the last week or so. So, saving any ink I can absolutely helps. So yeah, making a character for 2d6 Dungeon. It's pretty simple to do. You get a pretty base character. You start out with, all right, we'll get here to the, creating a character section. And yeah, to start a character, we will start with a name. So I think I will be delving this dungeon. Um, yeah, with a female character. We're gonna make a attempt to make a female legend here in our first playthrough. So I'm gonna do Roseline Godwin. Roseline Godwin. And Roseline Godwin's gonna be level 1. All characters start out with 10 hit points, and they start out with 0 experience. Our shift is going to be a +2, our discipline a +1, and our precision a 0. So what the +2 implies or relates to when it comes to shift is you'll be rolling dice to do certain maneuvers when you attack, and your shift will allow you to move the dice up or down one spot to adjust for to try to make your attacks and stuff. You get a choice of 3 different starting weapons. The longsword, the great axe, or the heavy mace. I'm going to start Rosalind out with the longsword. We're gonna say that it was a sword that she got from her father. Nothing special, but it is her starting sword and what she intends to make her fame on. Um, yeah. Then we will get a couple of starting maneuvers, and for that I will need the 2d6 tables codex. And on page, it is page 13 of the yeah, the tables codex. Here we have our list of the weapons and the maneuvers we could get. I know it's a little bit hard to see. But yeah, we will be picking from the longsword and the first level maneuvers. And what I'm going to be doing is trying to select maneuvers that give me the widest range of dice numbers covered. So I think I'm going to start out with a biting stroke. And the dice sets for that. So these will be the numbers I need to hit on my primary and secondary, to be able to perform this attack. So the biting stroke is going to be a primary of 2 and a secondary of 3. And then I think for my second one, I am going to start out with a hack. And a hack is going to give me a primary of 4 and a secondary of 1. Damage on biting is going to be d6 plus 1. And damage on a hack is going to be d6 minus 1. All right. And now for bum. Oh, okay, here we are. Sorry about that, folks. I kind of lost my page in the book. It's kind of the downfall to having printed off papers, in my opinion, is sometimes my pages get out of order. So anyway, we have selected our maneuvers. As a first level, we get 2 of them, and you get a third one. I believe it's at level 6, if we can survive there. I've watched several playthroughs on this, and surviving is, well, over half the battle. So anyway, we get to start out with a starting piece of armor here. And for our starting piece of armor, we just kind of pick one. I think I'm going to start out with the jerkin, which has its own dice set, which is just a primary number. And I am going to block on primary 4s, and I will do -1 damage on all primary 4s that are rolled. Now you also start out with 1 healing potion, and you can get 1 starting scroll. I think I'm going to take the scroll of reflexes. Now there is a little bit of a trick to using the scroll. You do have dispels for scrolls that if you roll, but you to succeed on a scroll, you must roll a double. Using your discipline number to shift the dice the same way you would in an attack. But your dice gotta be doubles, without being your dispel double. To me, this seems a little tricky until you get into higher levels where you have more discipline to shift the dice where you need them to be. But at starting levels, it seems to be very risky to use a scroll. I don't know if it's allowed, but for my playthroughs, I've been basically retaining or getting the gold from the scrolls and purchasing better stuff that way until I'm capable of casting a scroll without murdering myself. So yeah, this is basically everything we need to get started. We do have a flint and steel, and a lantern, which I'm going to write in my large items. A pouch, a wax sealing kit, and a large backpack, which is what your large items. You can carry 10 large items, and I consider large items anything that needs to be anything oversized, over heavy, or um, like a lantern that needs to be handled a little bit delicately. My character happens to have her lantern coming off of her backpack, kind of shining as she's traveling through with her long sword. And let's see, what else do we have? I think that is it. That is a starting character, folks. So yeah, from there, um, we would delve a dungeon. So let me just switch a couple things around here, and we will get our starting grid pulled to the top here. Now they say roll for your starting room, but I like to start with just the smallest starting room that you can, which is just 6 squares with 3 exits. Now, starting room exits are always archways. So I'm going to draw in my archways here. And the book does have, let me go ahead and show you this. The book does have on page 16 examples down here of what the different doorways look like. I have gone ahead and converted that onto an index card that I have just pinned onto my wall over here so that I can just quickly reference that. So this is going to start out as our entry. Okay, and the entry is always empty and always has 3 open entrances. Now, I normally like to start off by branching off to the left. If ever in doubt, go left. So what we're going to do here, I have decided that let me confirm this, the pink and blue dice will be my primary, and the pink and black will be my secondary dice. So what we are going to do right now is roll for the room size on the X and Y axis. So on the X axis, we are 3 rooms over, or 3 spots over. So I'm going to go down 1 because I know my Y is 5. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now I'm going to roll this dice, and for doors. 5 on doors, so when you're rolling for doors, a 1 is 0 doors. A 2-3 is 2-3 is 2 doors. No, 2-3 is 1 door. A 4-5 is 2 doors, and a 6 is 3 doors. So we rolled a 5, so that's 2 exits coming out of here. So I'm going to do 1 here. And we will do 1, let's just say, right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw in the rest of my room lines. All right, perfect. Now we need to figure out, and we're going to label this room 1, and we need to figure out what room 1 is. So we're going to go to our index tables again. And for this, I have opened up to level 1 and 2 tables. And there's a little bit here that you should read before going on to each level. But we are going to roll on the room type table. And we're going to roll our primary and secondary dice, remembering that the 4 is the primary, or the pink and blue is primary, pink and black is secondary. So we got a 4-6. We look on here for a 4-6. This is a canteen. Okay. And a canteen is a unique room, so there can only be 1 per floor. So I'm going to go ahead and write a U by my 1, just so that I know this is a unique floor. Now, what it says about the canteen: 3 rough tables, a few chairs, and stools stand next to a wooden bar. The barman yells and attacks. Use laborer stats. Also face a patron. Roll on level 1 workers -1. And these are wood doors leading out of here. It says right next to it what type of doors it is. So I'm going to go ahead and make wooden doors. Leading from our canteen. So in here, I am going to have a laborer, and there is no running. There is no running in this game. So yeah, everything in here it wants to hurt you, and you are trying to not let that happen. So let's go to our actually I think 38. 38. Don't forget to use your table's index. It'll save you amazing amounts of time. So we are gonna roll on the level 1 wardens. Oh yeah, wardens, not workers. So we're gonna roll on the level 1 wardens. We'll use my primary dice for this. We're gonna roll D6 -1. Oh, so that's a 5. So we have a laborer and a jailer in this room that I have to fight. So now I am going to go ahead and go to the back of the book here where we have the monsters. And I am going to pull out this sheet for the laborer and our jailer. Oh, and it's just so fitting that they have to be right here on the same page together. All right, so our jailer has six life, and our laborer has 4. And yeah, there's about 15 experience points up for grabs here. And looks like the laborer will interrupt on with a shove on primary 2s. And the jailer will interrupt with a barge on secondary 2s. So let's go ahead and get into this first round of combat. We can see my dice sets here and what I block on, and I can see their dice sets here and what they can block on. So the jailer can do a sharp kick on a 5-1. And the jailer can do a punch with a 3-3. Um, and then the laborer can do an uppercut on a 2-5. Both of them get 1 starting shift. So here you will notice I have 2 dice set. One of these is going to be my round counter, and one of these will be my shift adjustment to kind of show the combatants getting tired over time. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and dive into this. I have 2 shifts. You start out with no bonus shift. That will kick in at round 4. 4 when bonus shift takes it. So I'm gonna roll my shift. I got a 5-1 because our pink and blue is primary, and I can do a hack on a 4-1. So I can go ahead and use 1 point of shift to shift this to a 4-1. And I will do 1d6 minus 1 damage. And I'm going to attack the laborer first. So I'm going to do 2 damage to the laborer as she runs in with her sword and hacks into him. The laborer only had it interrupt on a primary 2, but our primary was 4, so we're good there. Okay, now it is the laborer's turn. They rolled a 6-5, and they need a 2-5. They only have 1 shift point to start out with, which means they can shift this to a 5-5, which is not enough. They will miss. The jailer's going to take his attack, and he rolls a 5-6. And the jailer can hit on a 5-1, which he only has 1 shift right now, so he can only shift that down to a 5, which isn't enough, and he can't hit a 3-3, so he is going to miss. So our round will go up to 2, and I get to attack again. Okay, I rolled a 3-1. All right, so I can use 1 shift again to take this up to a 4-1, which will allow me to do a hack, which is a d6 minus 1. So 1 minus 1, I'm going to do no damage to him. That stinks. That stinks. But that is what it is. The laborer is going to attack me, the 5-5. They still have 1 shift, and he needs to make a 2-5. So he will not be able to shift this down enough to hit me. So the laborer is going to miss again as he attacks. The jailer is going to attack for a 5-4. And with one shift point, he will not be able to make that a 5-1 or a 3-3. So he is going to miss. That's going to take this up to round 3. And I get to go again. I rolled a 4-4. And I have 2 shift points. So I cannot shift this down to a 1. I can shift that to a 2, but won't be able to shift that to a 4. So I am going to miss my first attack. And Labor gets to attack with a 4-1. They need a 2-5 to hit, so they will not be able to shift that down. A 1-5 from the Jailer. They need a 5-1, which is backwards. That won't hit. Or a 3-3. And with one shift point, they will not be able to do it. So now we go into round 4. And now we will bring back this other dice. So now we have a 1 bonus shift. So I'm going to take my attack and I get 3 shift this time. I rolled a 5-1. So I'm going to go ahead and just use one of my 3 shift to take that to a hack for 1d6 minus 1 damage. Oh, and again with the 1. Okay, we're not rolling that dice anymore. That dice has been banned. It's a bad dice. We're just going to go ahead and use it as a counter. And yeah, it's going to spend a little time in timeout. So we were going to grab our dice here, and we will roll for the Laborer, which gets a 2-3, and he needs a 2-5, which he has 2 shift now, 1 to start with, and 1 from the... So he will be able to shift that to a 2-5. And I only block on primary force, so that's not going to block. So he's going to do 1d6 minus 3 damage. So I am going to take 2 damage here. So I'm going to drop from 10 to 8 points of life. And the Jailer is going to attack. Rolling a 2-4. Okay, so they will be able to shift that one. They have 2 shifts. So they're going to shift the 2 up to a 3, the 4 down to a 3 for a 3-3, which is going to be a punch, which is a d6 minus 3. He rolled a 3. Minus 3 will be 0 damage. He's going to hit me, but it's not going to do any damage. So we go into round 5. And we get 2 bonus shift at round 5. So I now have 4 shift. I am going to roll a 5-4. And I'm just going to roll this on down to the 1 I need using 3 shift points. And this to a 4 using 1 shift point. So I'm going to do d6 minus 1 damage. Oh, man. That's 3 ones in a row on damage, folks. We are not going to win battles doing that. Not going to win battles. Anyway, let's go to the Laborer, who's going to roll a 5-6 and needs to shift it to a 2-5. So they need to take 3 off of this dice, and they only have 3 shift points. So they can take that to a 2, which is going to leave them 1 short. The Laborer will miss. Jailer is going to roll a 4-3. And for 1 shift, he can make this a 3-3. doing a d6 minus 3 damage to me. He rolled a 1 minus 3. That's going to be 0 points of damage again, luckily. Now let's go into the 6th round of combat. This is the last dice shift you'll get. So 3 is the most you will get. So I have 5 total dice shifts now. And I rolled a 2-6. Oops, I flipped that as I moved it here. So I am going to use 3 to shift this down to my biting stroke, which is going to do 1d6 plus 1. This should kill the laborer even with the 1, because 1 plus 1 is 2 points of damage. And the laborer only has 2 points left. So we went ahead and killed the laborer. As we turn our attentions, actually, the jailer's going to attack us, the 1-5, and he had 4 points of shift, so he will be able to make this a 3-3, doing 1d6 minus 3 damage. So he rolled a 6 minus 3, that's 3 points of damage to me, which is going to drop me down to 5 hit points. 5 hit points. This game can be very deadly, guys. I have seen many people play it, and better people than I have felt. So, yes. All right, my attack, it is round 7, so his interrupt will not work any longer, because after round 7, move interrupts don't engage as kind of showing the wear and tear on the combatant. So I'm going to roll a 4-4, and I'm going to shift 2 down here and 1 down here to make it a 2-3 for 1d6 plus 1 damage. So I'm going to do 3 damage to the jailer as she hacks into him with her long sword. Just Jailer's turn to attack. He is going to roll a 2-5. 2-5 with 4 shift points. He can make this a 3-3 again for 1d6 minus 3 damage. Oh, he's going to hit me for max damage again. 3 points of damage. I am down to 2 points of damage, folks. 2 points of damage. Or 2 points of life. 2 points of life. If I take 2 more damage. So now I got to think here. I got 3 points left to hit him. 2 points of life left. I got a healing potion, but if I use the healing potion, he gets to attack. I got 5 shifts, so I'm going to just try to end this. Oh man. A 1-6. So 1 dice shifts that to a 2. And 3 dice shifts that to a 3. Okay, I can get there. I need a 2 or higher here. Oh, man. 1 point again on damage. So I'm going to do 2 points of damage, which is going to give him an attack. Oh, no. I may have just cost myself 4-6. He's got 4 points. One to shift that down. 2, 3. 3 to shift that down through 3. 1d6 minus 3. If he hits me for a 5 higher on this dice, and I am dead. All right, he rolled a 2. 2 minus 3 is going to be 0 points of damage. I get to go one more round. So I am going to go ahead and attack. I rolled a 3-1. So I'm going to shift that to a 2-3 for my biting strike again. I'm going to get D6 plus 1. So 4 plus 1 is 5 points of damage, which will end the 1 point of damage he had left. Boom, 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 boom. We get 10 for the jailer, 5 for the laborer, so we are at 15 experience. And we get a roll on a couple charts. For the laborer, we get a roll on pouch table 1. Which is on page, give me 2 seconds here. Pouch table 1 is on page 23, where we're going to roll our 2d6. And so 4 minus 1 is 3. The pouch has nothing in it. That's the laborer's pouch. The guard's pouch, we get a roll on PT1 plus 1. And we got another 4. So his pouch has nothing in it. Okay, so we are not starting out great for loot. But we did get a battle in. And I do believe we get to roll on something for the room. Oops, that's level 2 stuff. Canteen. No, I do not get to roll anything for the room. So yeah, I am going to take nothing but some experience and maybe a better understanding away from this dungeon or this first room. This here is a dead spot, so we're just going to shade it in. And let's roll. These are wooden doors, so they will only be locked on a 6. And of course, we rolled a 6. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we roll a door? Why wouldn't we roll a 6? All right, so those doors are both locked. Fantastic. Well, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and stop it here. Yeah. Thank you for joining me in the dungeon. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and stop our playthrough of 2D6 Dungeon right there. We're one room in. We've battled 2 people. Been beat the heck out of, but we're still alive. We got a healing potion, and maybe next time I'll explain how we get out of here to possibly heal up, sell some stuff, come back. We'll see what happens. Thank you for coming. If you liked what you've seen, like, subscribe, maybe share it with a friend. If you didn't, thank you very much for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day.